If you feel that you're heading down the road where you're going to end up hurting your back, these are going to be very valuable for you. Alright, welcome along to a new episode. In this video I want to share some of the things that I've learned having been living with a back injury for the better part of 20 years at this point. If you've been watching the channel, you'll have seen in recent months that I have had a slip up once more and I've been off work to recover from a flare-up of an injury I have in my spine. So quick little backstory on the exact injury I have. Essentially, over a lot of years worth of heavy lifting, constantly bending down, coming back up, all that sort of stuff, factory work, just an environment where you're constantly doing stuff that's putting strain on your back. Unfortunately for myself, whenever you've got a build like I have, pretty big guy, you tend to get all the donkey work whenever it comes to factory work. So if you've any size to you at all, strength, you're going to be doing the hard stuff. Now, these days isn't quite as bad as it used to be. I'm starting to show my age right now, 45 years old. When I first started out, a lot of the jobs that have become mechanized these days, machines doing a lot of stuff, it used to be a lot of manual labor that the machines have taken over at this point in 2024. But back then, constantly manual labor in the workplace. So I've had this injury in the spine that's essentially, with all the bending, lifting, turning, that sort of thing, I've actually worn a chunk out of one of the discs at the base of my back. So the MRI scan showed up everything, degenerative disc condition, and essentially the part of the disc that's missing, worn down, is to the front of the spine. So technically, even whenever I sit down in a chair, my spine's compressing more than it should, and that squeezes the fluid pack and between the discs kind of out a little further than it should at the back, and then that sets off the sciatic nerve. When that happens, that can be months on end. So what I have to do right now is exercise and just lose weight and build the core to the point where the muscles are protecting the spine. So the lessons that I have learned over the years of working with this, if you feel that you're heading down the road where you're going to end up hurting your back, these are going to be very valuable for you. So the first tip that I would give you right here is to gather up some money. It's always good to have a little fund, a little emergency fund for just about anything, but whenever it comes to the bad back, I would recommend starting now, if you feel it's going to happen, putting money aside that's going to cover everything for 6 months. Whatever bills you have to pay on a weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever it is, quite a bit of money. So right now, start to save some cash, put it to the one side. When a bad back takes you down, it's going to take you out of the workplace altogether. So it's, if you're employed, you're going to have sick pay there to cover you. So that won't necessarily be the case each time. First time I went off, I was covered for, I was off for months, like 5 months the first time around, and the sick pay that I'd worked up over the years kind of covered me for the most of that. But this last time in particular, I only got a full wage for the first 2 weeks I was off. So there was like a 7-week period there where I was just getting the basic sick pay, which is like, in the UK here, it's like £115 per month. That's nothing to live on these days. So get a 6 months worth of money gathered up and a little account somewhere to the side that you can dip into that if needed, if you end up off work. So number two, don't keep going. Stop when your body demands it. Mistake I've made in the past is I feel sore here, but I need the cash, I'm going to keep going. Whereas if I had just stopped whenever the body was demanding that I had stopped, the injuries that I have had over the years wouldn't have been quite as bad. I think if you just know what's going to happen and you feel that you need to step back, take a little time off, book a few weeks holidays or something, or even ask your employer to give you a job for a little while. It's not as hard on your back. Kind of skipping ahead in the tips here, but yes, if you need to take a little bit of a step back, talk to your employer or whatever, say, can you take a little bit of time to kind of recover, take a little bit of stress off your spine, and come back to your normal job whenever it's a little bit better. The third one here is to take the appropriate downtime. Now, unfortunately for me, the first time around, I went back far too quickly. The first time I really hurt myself. I went off, of course, again, I was getting covered by sick pay at that time, but I was forced back into the workplace before I should have went back in. And I really genuinely believe, hand on heart right now, that first time around, if I had have had about another 3 weeks, I would have been fully recovered and gotten over as best I could. I don't think the injuries would have progressed as much if I had more downtime first time around. So if you need to take downtime, make sure you take what you need before you go back. Don't let anybody force you back into it. The fourth one here is to start light physical therapy as soon as possible. Even if you're down, you're sore, do something simple to, exercise that back ever so slightly, whether it be the scorpion stretch, just as simple as lying down on your stomach, lifting your right leg, putting it over the top of your left leg, and repeating the other side. So keep doing that there. If it's a muscular thing, it'll stretch the muscles properly for you. Even on your back, just doing some little leg raises, even if you're only going up maybe 2 to 3 inches, that will build up that core a little bit for you as well. So 5, downtime is important to start the healing process, but too much inaction can be damaging too. The thing that I messed up on the first time around is whenever I hurt the back, I stopped absolutely everything as far as upper body went. When I did go back to work, I was on lighter duties, and over years, you hurt yourself. You tend to naturally step back from the thing that hurt you, but that's only natural. But if you keep that up for far too long, in the long run, that's going to come back and bite you in the backside. So try to get back to as much exercise as you can. Build it up slowly. Don't let yourself get out of shape to the point where your own physical size is working against you. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I've learned that lesson the hard way. Number 6, amend your duties and movements to work with the fact that you have a back problem. Again, kind of covered that. When you get back to the workplace, you're not going to be able to do the things that you were doing at the start. You're going to have to take lighter duties for a while, and just take it for what it is. You've now hurt yourself. Hopefully you can get over the injury, but once you do have a bad back, it's going to kind of always be there. Now, you can work towards getting as full a recovery as you can, but I have found, I can only talk from my own experience, but I found once the back problem happened, it was always there, and it's always going to be there for me, unfortunately, as it's in the actual spine itself. But yes, just amend the duties and movements. Give yourself the full recovery time. 7 is to remind yourself that your health is now the top priority in your life. Again, I've kind of covered that. So you need to put this first from here on in, whenever it comes to whatever you're doing physically. It used to be, whenever you were a kid, you could just think you were to do something like, oh, there's something on the ground here, I'm going to bend down and pick it up. And you're like, down you go, grab it, up you come, not a problem. With a bad back now, it's not like you can't do that sort of thing, but you're going to have to put that extra step in there of, okay, there's something on the ground there, I'm going to tense my muscles up, and I'm going to bend with my knees. I'm not going to bend over at the waist that you would do as a kid, that sort of thing there. So just, look after that health first. Don't let yourself, and I'm jumping to the last tip here, don't allow yourself to be put in harm's way. Whenever you come out of the workplace with a back injury, you're going to go back in, and again, like I said at the start, if someone the size of myself here has got a bit of strength behind them, and a factory environment is given all the heavy jobs. So you go out with a back injury, you come in again, you're the go-to for a certain job, but somebody thinks, all right, we need to get this done. That dude over there's class at it, we'll get him to do it. When it comes to that, like, I would fight your corner at this point here, that, okay, guys, I've destroyed my spine here at this point. I need to look after it. I'll do what I can for you in any aspect of the job, but this particular thing here is a danger zone for me. Right now, I'm back in the workplace. I'm doing the similar job that I was doing before I left. That was my own fault this time with the back injury. It was actually a training accident that done it, but took me out of the workplace. But now, back in, I've realised that the spine can't take the compression right now, so there's about 50% of the job I was doing before I left that I can't do, at least for the moment, until I build up the core a little bit to protect it. So that's the lessons I've learned in my own journey up to this point. So hopefully they helped you, and if I think of anything more, I'll do more videos on it. But look after your health, take the information I've given you, put it to good use, and look after your health first. Right, stay safe. I will talk to you in the next one.